People are really gonna think I have one shirt, huh? I should probably change my shirt. Hello, I have been playing a lot of games this year. I don't know about you guys. I've saw some study or some poll that said that people only play like 3 games a year, or they only purchase like 3 or 4 games a year. I don't understand how that can happen. Maybe if you play a lot of like multiplayer games, that can be true. I play a lot of single player games. I have 70 so far. Today is November 12th. I'm probably not gonna finish any other games this year. Hopefully. I have a big project I'm working on, probably what's going to take up the remainder of my year, but I have a list here of 70 games, and I'm going to go through them one by one, and I'll talk about them. I have notes. Some of this stuff is older. Some of it, I think it's actually pretty old. I don't know what the oldest game I have on here. Oh, you know what? I think I know. The oldest game on here is from like the 90s, like the mid to late 90s. And if there are VODs of me playing any of these, you can find them on my archive channel. I may just link my archive channel if you're interested in watching that. Here are the 70 games I've completed this year. By the way, that is over a game a week on average, but there are many weeks I do not finish a game. I have a lot of short games. You'll see what I'm talking about. So to start off, this game made the rounds around the time, I think, when a lot of these games were getting popular. Give me 1 second. I'm bringing up, let me go to my games list here. I'm recording. I don't know why I'm asking you to give me a second. I have 40 minutes in Egg Squeeze. You ever had those toys as a kid that would, or maybe you didn't have one, but I didn't have one, but I saw them all the time. They're like telekinesis toys. You and another person are wearing a headband, and you have to like push a ball from one end of like a tube to the other side. I never understood how that worked, but it feels like one of those. The game is called Egg Squeeze. It sounds really stupid to say I really liked it, but I did really like it. It was fun, it was short, it was addictive, and it was surprisingly funny. I definitely recommend that one. Mouthwashing is amazing. If you haven't played it, just go into it blind. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. For those of you who have played it, I personally think it's told in a really interesting way. I love that like non-chronological sort of like right as it's getting really good, some super dramatic thing will happen, or somebody will lunge at you and then all of a sudden it'll pause and then fade out and then go back to like however long before or after this particular point in time. It's very, like, the mystery and the story of it is so well told, and I think it is satisfying. It is surprisingly satisfying ending. A lot of this type of horror, and it is horror, so if you don't like it, that really sucks, but it transcends the genre, okay? I don't like horror games. I do play a lot of horror games, I guess, but I don't like horror. I don't like jump scare stuff. I like atmospheric. Anybody can jump scare. Anybody can sit in a dark room. I can do this. Well, it's not as dark as I'd like, but I could turn all my lights off, and if it was dark outside, okay, then it would be spooky, and I could jump at the camera and make a loud noise, and you would get scared. Or not scared, you would get startled. But I prefer stuff that really sticks with you. Silent Hill, some of the Resident Evil entries have this stuff. PT is probably the scariest game I've ever played, but Mouthwashing has that same vibe. I have a whole Steam collection. Maybe I'll go into it one day in a video, but it's called Those Games, and it's all games that are just like, give you that really like sick in your stomach, weird feeling, and Mouthwashing is on that list, okay? Mouthwashing is fantastic. It has some really genuinely unsettling parts, and it is kind of depressing. Those are my 3 notes I have for Mouthwashing. It's interesting because it's told non-chronologically, has some genuinely unsettling bits, and it's kind of depressing. And that's probably the best way I can describe it without spoiling anything. Highly recommend it. It's very story heavy, and it's not super long. I think you could probably beat it in 1 play session, maybe 2. I have 2 hours in Mouthwashing. It's a very short game.
Just like you bought me some water in this mug. And I was drinking, and I saw ripples in the water. Little round waves. And heard a whisper. So I drank, and...
You heard God in a cup?
In a cup, yes. But that's not the point. I'll show you when we get there.
I did not like Indika. I thought it was very fucking boring. The whole thing has kind of an Eastern European surrealist vibe. If you've ever watched like an Eastern European, like a Russian or Belarusian movie, like any of that kind of vibe, those weird Czech movies, it's very much like that. It has that kind of vibe throughout it. almost like a Russian like fairy tale almost, but I didn't think it was surreal enough, or surreal often enough to be engaging. It felt like nothing was really explained or answered. Look, I'm the last person to say like, oh, a piece of media has to explain itself. It needs to have solid answers, but it has to have, I don't believe that, but it does have to have something. And Indika just felt like there was nothing underneath. I don't know what I was expecting. I went into it pretty blind. I got it based on the trailers, I think. I didn't look up any reviews for it, but I got it based on the trailers. And I came away from it kind of like, oh, that's it? Like, it ended so abruptly. And I know that there's probably more there if you really wanted to delve into it, but I just did not. I felt like there wasn't enough narrative or something. I really don't know. There was something about it that just did not grab me. It felt very like meandering, like pointless. I really don't know. It feels very disconnected. The events of the story feel like they kind of just happen in a sequence. Like everything leads from one to the next, like one event to the next, but it doesn't really give me the vibe of like, this is it. This is like a come and see abstraction of a particular thing or something like that. It just was not engaging for me. The puzzles are so boring and uninteresting. It was probably my biggest disappointment of the year. Number 4 is milk outside a bag of milk outside a bag of milk. This is really weird. This is basically milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk. It is basically that, but again and more a little bit. It is good. It is very short and it's nicer to look at for sure. It's very pretty, but about as good as the first one. I don't know if I would recommend it over milk inside a bag of milk, and that one is much shorter and it's free. I liked it. It is a little bit of surreal horror, but it's just, it's okay. It's okay. Ooh, man, Hell Pie. Okay, so this one, I played through it. I kind of binged it, and that one I almost did everything. I didn't 100% it, but I did complete it. I didn't get the urge to 100% it. It's like the most basic collectathon experience you could possibly have. There's so many other better platformers out there. Like, just play A Hat in Time. Like, it wants to be A Hat in Time so bad. If you've already played A Hat in Time, oh man, if you've already played A Hat in Time, I don't know, play a Mario game. Play Mario Galaxy again. That's all I would say. Hell Pie is just fine. The theming is okay. It tries a little bit too hard to be edgy, in my opinion. Sometimes it can be funny how crude it is. Sometimes, the majority of the time, it is not really that funny, and it's cringe and stupid. And it makes you want to go to hell in real life. Some of these I may not have a time for, by the way, because I played them on PlayStation. I'm pretty sure this one I played on PlayStation. I'm not gonna say Damacy. I'm a Damacy head, okay? Katamari Damacy. I played the original PS2 Katamari Damacy, and I liked it a lot. But it was one of those games where it really needed an update, and that's what I think REROLL does perfectly. Like, I don't know, it's just such a perfect game idea. Just rolling a stupid ball around and collecting other stuff. Everybody knows about Katamari, okay? Everybody knows what this guy looks like. Post-production Noah's gonna put something here. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Everybody loves the prince. Everybody thinks it's very cute. It's like ugly cute, okay? It's the perfect, like, Japanese, there's a term for it in Japanese, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically when something is so ugly that it wraps back around to being cute. I have a note here that just says, the prince is my sugar daddy. The king's bulge is distracting. That's true, it is. A comment I saw somewhere said there's only like 3 maps in the original Katamari, and I would believe that, by the way. I would believe that, because the number of times where you're going through the exact same level, but it gets maybe a little bit bigger, sometimes it doesn't even get bigger, it's just the same size the whole time. That can be frustrating, not frustrating, monotonous. It can be monotonous, a little boring after a while, but it's good, okay? The music is a jam. That whole soundtrack is really good. All the dialogue is really fun. The challenges aren't too hard. It feels very balanced for what it is. It has a particular rhythm that I think you have to get into. You have to learn the rhythm of Katamari. It was a lot of fun. I loved my time with it, but I wanted to move on to something more involved using that same formula. So it is better than the original in probably every way that counts, and it has a huge variety of levels. There's tons of little challenges that I think are more interesting than the challenges in the original, and like remixes almost of the levels that you just went through. That racetrack level, that one's probably my favorite in the series so far. The music on it is so awesome. The king is weirdly nice in We Love Katamari. I don't know why. I thought he was always more like abusive. I do like the nicer side of the king for sure. The Royal Reverie content, all the stuff with the king as a young prince rolling around is just as good. The quality is just as good as the main game. Royal Reverie really was like a good proof of concept of like, oh yeah, these guys do understand Katamari. I've heard nothing but good things about the new one. As recording, I haven't played it yet. I would very much like to before the year is out, or at least beginning of next year maybe. It'll make the list next year. I will say the REROLL releases of We Love Katamari and the original Katamari Damacy are like the definitive way to play this game. If you're interested at all in Katamari, they are just awesome introductions to this world and this series. They're not too complicated, especially the first one is so simple. Like I said, you can beat it in a couple hours. It's very engaging. Like, you will know whether you like it or not, or if it'll make you feel sick within like the first 30 minutes of playing Damacy. So sit back, put on some headphones and enjoy them for sure. I highly recommend those. I don't know if you guys know anything about this game. I don't know how popular this game is at all. I've had this in my library for a while. I just haven't really played it very much before this year. I ended up just going through and finishing it because I liked the music, even though I'm a little over the EDM stuff. It's a little dated at this point. A lot of that EDM is like, it's like Monster Cat type EDM. Some of it I think is actually literally Monster Cat songs, which Monster Cat was popular in what, like 2015? I really liked it for what it was, but most of the songs in it are from that era of like EDM, dude, crab rave, like 2018, 2017 vibe for a lot of them. I have 4 hours in that one, and I just did the campaign, and I enjoyed it. It was hard. There are some moments in that campaign that are really tough. I'm a sucker for any game that plays with the map GUI, where it does interesting things with the map, like having these little animations play out. There are multiple moments where you're moving around on the map to pick a new level, and things are happening on the map that you have to react to or mess with, or I don't know. It's like Limbo when you're out on the game Limbo, not like Purgatory, IRL Purgatory, but it's like that game where it's like moving around and reacting to things, or maybe clearing hazards and stuff between the levels. And the levels are all like beat based, and it's like a bullet hell. It's really good if you can stand the music, but the animations that they put along to it are fantastic. Like, they really do build that image in your head for these songs. They're the kind of thing that, like, when I was a kid, that's what happened in my head, was like these weird, stupid, I don't know, this sounds so dumb, but these weird like animations that you kind of put in your head to certain songs. I would like picture, this is so embarrassing, I would picture anime OPs in my head to some songs that I really liked, where I was like, man, I could totally see like a badass anime OP put to this particular song. This game captures that feeling like perfectly. If you like rhythm games and dated EDM, you'll like it.
Okay, buddy. I'm just gonna leave then, I guess.
I'm glad that's over. I can't stand the fuss.
Okay. I'm glad that you're glad.
Any sign of knockoffs?
This one? I'm knocking it off right now.
This game is remarkably British. Like, you'll either like the humor a lot or it'll be completely lost on you. I think I was a coin flip whether or not I was gonna get the humor or if it just was gonna go totally over my head or I just didn't find it funny. But it's very dry humor, very crude, not like ugly humor. It's like crass, like, I don't know, Monty Python maybe, like that vibe, or like Untitled Goose Game, like that kind of humor with dialogue rather than acted out through like a charade sort of thing. It's pretty good. It's really short, but it's good. It's pretty good. And look, I could not finish 70 games if these weren't short, okay? So a lot of these are going to be short. I don't have too much to say about some of them. You like jazz? It is very good. I don't think I've done any of the B-sides, like the, what are they called? Are they just hard modes? It's worked on by Bennett Foddy. He didn't do the music. The music is so good. It's just such a creative, visually creative and interesting game. This is a weird pull, but it reminds me a lot of Baba Is You visually. It has some of the similar, like, weird, sketchy, I don't know how to describe it. Look, here's 8-Bout right here, and here's Baba Is You. You tell me, same or different? But it has a really fun gameplay loop, has a really fun premise, and some of the levels are actually really unique. They do a lot with very little. That one where the bombs are coming down is really interesting. Any of the ones with the lights out is really interesting. So definitely recommend 8-Bout. It's pretty good. It's worth whatever the asking price is, for sure. Now, this one, I tried playing the original Vanishing of Ethan Carter ages ago. Overall, it is probably one of the best walking sim type games. I don't normally play walking sims. I like there to be gameplay in my game. But if a walking sim is good, it can be done well. The pacing is so important, especially in a walking sim. And it is the thing that will kill your experience. It's what put me off the game the first time I tried it. So I do recommend playing through this, but if you hit a point where you don't know what to do, just look up a guide. It doesn't matter. It's not going to spoil anything for you unless you look up a guide that specifically talks about the ending. This one in particular is very good. I like twist ending, if you know kind of thing. Highly recommend. Now this one kind of popped off this year. I think I saw it in a Jacob Geller video. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw the recommendation. This one was pretty solid. I like incremental games. This is the best kind of incremental game for me. This reminds me a lot of Motherload and a bunch of other kinds of incremental games. Motherload is one, that's an old Flash game from ages ago. I don't even know if you can still find it. I think it's on Flashpoint or something. But this is basically the modern interpretation of that concept of like digging down, grabbing some shit, bringing it back up, selling it, and upgrading your ability to dig. That's basically what it is. This game especially has basically just enough content to be interesting for exactly one play session. I don't know if I would have come back to it. I do love incremental games. Like I said, they're one of my favorite genres is like idle games, incremental games, but I am also kind of a picky bitch when it comes to this stuff. So I wouldn't know. I don't know if I would recommend it. I definitely would for one playthrough at least. I think it's fun. Get it on sale though. I don't think there's enough there to warrant a second playthrough. I don't really see myself ever picking it back up unless there's some content update. The finale is so underwhelming. I just did not care at all. It was just like, oh, okay, that's it, I guess. It's good, not great.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
Yeah, that's what the guy said on the phone.
I actually thought it was pretty intriguing for the majority of it. The writing is so good. I mean, it kind of borders on like Joss Whedon cringe writing a couple times. which I hate. I fucking hate, like, Marvel writing, millennial writing. I don't know how you would describe it, like Forspoken writing, Marvel's Avengers writing, something like that. Like, it is just so cringe. But this manages to kind of ride the line. It has like just enough exploration to feel huge. Like this park does feel massive that you're walking around in, but it doesn't feel tedious to get from point A to point B. There's enough shortcuts and kind of side paths and stuff that it doesn't ever feel too overwhelming. It doesn't feel too like, oh my God, I have to backtrack that whole way. There's tons of stuff to comment on and ask about, like a surprising amount. That's what the majority of my playthrough was like going around, inspecting a thing and asking the woman on the radio about it. Just being like, hey, what is this tree? Why does this tree look like that? What is this lunchbox doing here? Hey, what do you think about this? Like, you sound so annoying. You must be so annoying to that woman. But it was good overall. The ending was satisfying, although I think it might have a couple different endings. Now, Firewatch has been out for a couple years, so you could probably get it on a pretty steep sale. I definitely would recommend getting it on sale at this point, but it is still worth playing through, for sure.
He should be able to stand in a few minutes and will no longer be suffering from his cough before long.
Consider the affair resolved. Accompany him to his niece's while I return to the boarding house, and then join me at the police station. Let's return to the boarding house.
All right. Now we're getting to a part that I'm actually pretty excited for. So this year, I played through all of the Frogware's Sherlock Holmes PC games. And by all, I mean like 90%. I think there was like one that I couldn't get to work, or two I couldn't get to work. Anyway, we'll go through them here. We'll go over, I have a note here on my PC of like the play order that I played them in and what I would recommend people play them in. So number 14 is Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. I played that one first. It's probably the strongest in the series, or one of, for sure. It is really good. I'd actually recommend it as a companion piece. This is really weird to say, but I'd recommend it as a companion piece to Lemmy-Knows video called the Jack the Ripper, whatever his Jack the Ripper is, hit that video. That's gonna go here. I'll put that here and I'll link it in the description. That video is really good. You need to watch that video. It gives a lot of context for the facts of the Ripper case. Super, super interesting. And this game kind of works as a good companion piece to it. The details of this game are surprisingly so accurate. If you're a fan at all of that case, if you have any interest in like true crime or whatever, you will get a lot out of it. Although it is so dated. The game is so dated because these games are relatively old at this point. They're pretty old. A lot of these games will let you play in first person, or when we get to chapter 1, those are third person, but these older style puzzle games for Sherlock Holmes, highly, highly, highly recommend playing in first person. It's just an overall better experience. They work perfect with mouse and keyboard. I don't think I ever had a weird problem with controls in any of them. They're really, really well written. I don't normally read documents in games. I go to Skyrim, I pick up a book and it opens, and if I don't get a skill point, I close the book and I put it in my inventory and I go, well, I'll read that later, and then I don't. Unless I'm really getting immersed in a story. Even Red Dead 2, I didn't read all the documents. I read a lot, but I didn't read all of them. But in Sherlock Holmes, I read all of them because there is important shit in there. Sometimes I would know about a story beat or something happening before the characters did because I picked up a document and read it pretty thoroughly and was able to kind of piece together what was going on or where the story might have been going. The big thing, right, is how would you end a fictional Jack the Ripper story with Sherlock Holmes in a way that is satisfying? And I think they do it. It's a really tough line to walk, but I think they do a very good job at contextualizing our modern history, our modern historical understanding of the Jack the Ripper case. I really cannot recommend it enough. It is so good.
The devil last night a nasty flea woke me, and me with only the hook on me scratching hand. And to add to me worries, imagine last summer I had worms.
Worms?
Yes, worms is what it was.
It definitely feels a little less polished, but it is a little more cinematic. It has a good mix of supernatural stuff and like actual detective stuff. Sherlock Holmes is kind of the logic-brained master of deduction and deductive reasoning. So it is hard to kind of square that with the idea of the supernatural, but I think they do a really, really good job, a lot better than the remake does. I hate the remake of this game. Even though I like chapter 1, we'll get there. The asylum part of this game is hard as fuck. I had to look up multiple times what to do because the logic just did not make sense. The gate, if you've played this game, you'll know what I'm talking about. All 2 of you who've played this. The gate section where one gate is open and there's a lever inside that closes the gate and opens the other gate and blah, 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 blah. And you gotta use a cart and like an anvil in a fucking like a doily or something. It's so stupid and like old adventure game logic. It's one of those things where you're like, yeah, it makes sense, but like I just would have never done that. It just does not make sense to me to do that with these items. But in context, I guess it makes sense, I guess. This is the game where it becomes incredibly obvious that these guys really love the Sherlock Holmes books. Like they make so many references to the text itself. If you like Sherlock Holmes, if you watched the Guy Ritchie movies and you liked those, and you watched Elementary and you liked those, and you're like, I want more of that. Here you go. Play these Sherlock Holmes games. These have a very similar vibe to that. Sherlock is he's such a fucking asshole in these. Watson is very likable. Sherlock is very likable, even though he is an asshole. In terms of the supernatural versus the real detective stuff, it really doesn't push it too far. It's like really just enough. It pushes it right up to the line of kind of sparking your imagination, but leaving enough up to interpretation where you could really go either way about whether it's real or not. On that note, amazing finale, okay? Very, very cool finale. I love this finale. I love Watson. I like that it actually feels like this adventure scars him, especially him. Holmes, some, but this particular adventure comes up over and over and over. It's referenced in many games that take place after this game. So it's very rewarding, even though I don't think it's the best story in the series by a lot. It is still worth going through, absolutely.
Something crazy happened when
Insane.
I looked at that necklace. That strange locket that was supposed to be my mother's. A weird feeling, like a twisted spell. Bad mojo.
Oh, he said the thing! This is a funny little cockroach game. That's all it is. It's just a funny little cockroach point and click game. Not even point and click. You use WASD or like arrow keys or whatever. I can't even remember. Don't play it. Don't play it. Just watch all the cutscenes on YouTube. It's really fucking gross. It's really not worth playing. But I do like FMV games. This is one of those. This one is very dated. The FMV cutscenes are amazing. That's why I say just look up a playthrough on YouTube. It is so short that if you had a guide, you could probably do this very quickly. I think toward the end, you kind of need a guide, because there are some things that are a little bit too abstract where you're supposed to go. There's a whole section of my VOD where I'm running around for way too long trying to figure out what the fuck to do. It's really not a very long game, but it is fun for that brief amount of time. No, definitely not worth playing through again. Like I said, just watch a cutscene compilation on YouTube. Now this one is right alongside Mouthwashing. It's by the same devs. It's very small, I guess is a good way to put it, like very small scale. I do recommend it. I'm pretty sure it's free. If it is, just go play it. If you like Mouthwashing, if you like that vibe, you will like this. It even has some nods to Mouthwashing in it. I think it came out before Mouthwashing, but still. It is kind of gross. It is very atmospheric, and it's like 20 minutes long. Just go play it. Just go play it. Watch the trailer, and if you like the trailer, just immediately play it.
Jacques Cazot, portrait by Jean-Baptiste Perronneau, born around 1715, died 1783. Looking at this canvas, the French painter must have drawn his inspiration from the famous French cheese Camembert. A canvas by Nicolas Poussin that tells of the discovery of Moses. Very nice.
My first note on this says, basically a puzzle game version of an audio tour of England. And that is true. I mean, it really is. Like, you're visiting all the highlights. You visit the Tower of London. You visit, I think it's the Art Museum of London. It's just very, very British. It's very British. Arsène Lupin is very fun in this. I don't know a whole lot about him as a character. I had never heard of him before this game, but I did a little bit of research outside of it, and it feels like he's very true to his character. It feels like he is a weird little trickster guy. He's very like immature. He's the jewel thief, right? He's literally like the, whatever the name of the guy from Sailor Moon is. I cannot remember what his name is. Phantom Mask, I think it's something like that. Maybe that might be that Super Mario Brothers 2 enemy. I can't remember what his name is. It feels like that character as the villain for Sherlock Holmes. It's probably the silliest of any of the Holmes games. Definitely has some of the best puzzles, like really engaging puzzles, but it is a nice breath of fresh air when you do it in this play order. It's a lot of fun. It's more casual and laid back. It doesn't have as intense of a story. It's very low stakes.
A broken phial and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Phew. Chemical components, I think.
There is blood on this paperweight.
This one is like the culmination of all the games up to that point. It is definitely not what I would recommend as a first game. It feels much cooler, much more satisfying when you've played a few of the games before this one. This is probably the most asshole who ever assholed this version of Sherlock. He is so mean to Watson. He is so unrelentingly mean to Watson. Like, you feel so bad for, I mean, worse than you normally do for Watson. I felt bad for Watson while playing this series a lot, but I especially felt bad for him this game. This one might be the best classic game in the series. It's like this one and Jack the Ripper are the two that are like neck and neck for quality. This one is so good. I don't want to spoil anything. Go play it. That's all I'll say. If you are at all interested in this series, play Jack the Ripper, Awakened, Nemesis, and then Testament, and then come back to me and tell me what you think, because I loved my experience with it. As somebody who had not played these games before, highly recommend them. They're so true to the character of Sherlock Holmes, and they're a lot of fun, to be honest. In my opinion, they do a really good job of not covering the super obvious Holmes stories, you know, the ones that we always hear about. They are alluded to, but they never feel like they're treading old ground. They always feel like they're giving something fresh and new. The classic series is just so well done. This is where I was sure of my play order when I got to this one. This one is like so simple. It's a point and click with like no movement at all. You don't really have to pay attention to the story at all in this one. It's like a hidden object game or like a puzzle game that's like 2 hours long at most. Let me see how much I actually have in this. Persian Carpet took 2.1 hours to beat. And I think I took an hour-long shit halfway through. So it was like fine. The puzzles were fine. They're not great. They're just fine. It's literally a Big Fish Games game. If you're nostalgic for that era of gaming, like games for Windows Live, whatever they are, Real Big Fish, I can't even remember what they're called. Big Fish Games, Real Big Fish, something like that. It was that era of gaming, then you'll like it. Other than that, it's not worth it. Just skip it.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No. But we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
This one is really weird. At first, I did not like this Holmes voice actor, but he might he might actually be better than the original voice actor. They changed for this one, and then they changed it again, I think, for Devil's Daughter, and then changed it again for Chapter 1. It's so weird. They could not land on a casting for Holmes. I did like the original Holmes. He was solid. He was very solid. He's iconic, but the new Holmes VA might be better. This feels like the most modern version of those old games. Don't let the banner art fool you, by the way. The banner art on this is not what Holmes looks like. He looks exactly the same as he did in the older games, I'm pretty sure. As they bring the games into the more modern era, it's like Holmes' voice actor changes, then Watson's voice actor changes, and then when Chapter 1 hits, they both change. I loved the format of this. It's told in an anthology, and it was pretty interesting. I got really into that gameplay loop. I loved the bite-sized mysteries. Being able to really dive deep into a specific location, an engaging story, all these different characters and events, and then solve it. However, it has like multiple endings for each case where you can accuse the wrong person and get the wrong, like the bad ending for each case. It's so strange. And the investigation style is brand new. I liked it a lot, but I did kind of miss the point and click style of the old games. This game totally throws that out the window. You no longer are doing those kind of puzzles or whatever. It's all logic and deduction and investigation, talking to witnesses. I enjoyed the new direction, I guess. I was kind of hesitant at first because I got very comfortable with that point and click style, but as I played more, I started to get more into it and really, I don't know, find the groove of it once I kind of met it where it was at.
Good day, gentlemen. Welcome to my home. How may I help you?
Good day to you, Lord Marsh. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
This one would be probably the worst one to start out with. The advertising for it makes it look like The Evil Within. Like, watch the trailer. It looks like a completely different game. The redesign for Holmes and Watson, they made them hot. It's so weird. I don't know if I am here for like a hot Holmes and like a hot Watson. Holmes always came across like an older guy who like was not the most attractive guy. He doesn't need to be attractive. That's like his whole thing. But yes, I do hate the redesign for Holmes, and I especially hate the redesign for Watson. I much prefer the original weird portly British man vibe, the old like Weasley dad vibe of the original Watson. This version did grow on me as the game went on, but overall, I'm still not sure I like him. In fact, I might dislike him actively. When I wrote this, I was saying I'm not sure if I like him, but I didn't really even have time to decide whether or not I liked him because
Hello again, officer. I've spoken to the tailoress and made a sketch of the thief.
the next game, they completely 180'd on their idea of who Holmes is. They're going back. This is like a prequel game, an origin game. I went into it incredibly cynical because I was like, of all the characters where we don't need to explore their psyche, Holmes is at the top of the list. It's the reason why I hate that stupid Sherlock series. Like, the first season was good, but it's like a bait where they're like, hey, do you want some like interesting Holmes stuff? Oh, you gotta be quicker than that. That's how it feels. And I went into it expecting that. I was like, I don't need a read of Holmes. I don't need to be like sympathetic toward him. He's not a character who like cries. I don't want to watch Sherlock Holmes cry. That's just not how he processes stuff. That's not how he works in any of the adaptations I've seen him in. I was so cynical going into it, but it's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It is not as satisfying. The answers at the end are not as satisfying as I wanted them to be, but the tone of the game is so good overall. The music, oh my God. Listen to Yacht Club. That's the name of the track, okay? It might be my favorite track in the game. It is such a jam. I was walking around. It's only in one building. It's in a single building. And I walked around in this building for like 10 minutes being like, man, this track is actually so good. I didn't even have anything to do in the building. I was just like, man, this track is so good. And I added it to my like favorites playlist on Spotify, and I've been listening to it. It'll come up occasionally. And I'm like, man, that game is so good. It makes me want to play the game again. That's how good the music is. It makes me want to play the game again. I came to appreciate this new detective gameplay loop. It's kind of strange, but I like this new like disguise system to get information. The idea of like changing an outfit as you're in the city to blend in with a certain crowd of people. It wasn't anything complicated. It was just walking up to a person dressed in a way that matched their class or their occupation, and if they had information to give you, they would give you information. But it was an interesting idea. It didn't really need expanded on. But the combat fucking sucks. I will say that. The combat fucking sucks. And it shouldn't have been included at all. And I really hate the dumb dungeons, arena battles. It was so boring. The combat is so boring. And some of the puzzles were so long. This is true of Devil's Daughter as well. Some of the puzzles take way too long. I already know the solution, but I have to walk across platforms and climb down ladders to flip a fucking switch or move a platform over to another thing, the slowest platform moving you've ever seen in your life. Take this shit out of my game. What happened to, here's part of a newspaper, and the guy happened to solve part of a clock puzzle to figure out how to open a specific safe or something. I can't even remember. It's like a box or a painting. That's what I want from a puzzle. I don't want to fucking move a platform around to create a bridge and then walk across the bridge and then I have to change characters and move the platform again to... I don't care. I don't care. Get this shit out of my Sherlock Holmes game. But the game overall is pretty good. I do recommend it.
I have good news. No lowers are coming for you. You were poisoned.
What?
Zora sold you Jimson weed instead of jasmine. That was the cause of your hallucination. She wanted revenge.
It doesn't change anything. Look, the laws were guiding her. I deserved it.
I went to the warehouse and I know what happened. You are not guilty of William's death.
This game is not good. I don't like it really at all. It's like a completely... This is weird to say because the original version came out in 2008, but it is a worse version of the original in basically every way. They use this new Holmes as the protagonist for The Awakened. He looks the same age as he does in chapter 1. He's like 19 or something in chapter 1. Maybe he's in his early 20s, but I'm pretty sure he's like 19. It just does not fit at all. He's so like, I will blah, 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 blah in chapter 1, right? Like that's his vibe. And in the Awakened remake, he's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. It's not real, it is real, it's not real, it is real. Like it is so schizo crazy. It feels like an older version of Holmes would totally fit. They try to kind of age him up. It does not work. I just do not think he works for that story at all. By the way, this game, I have 6 hours in this game. That's how short this is. The Awakened, I have 9.7. In the original Awakened, I have 9.7 hours, almost 10 hours. It is so much shorter. So much of the atmosphere is lost, even though you're visiting the same places as in the original. And it does make a couple improvements to the worst parts of the original, but it does not stand out. It is not unique. It doesn't feel unique. It doesn't feel interesting. There's no puzzles. Where's the puzzles? Like, I'm not talking about the stupid push a thing to the other side of the room or like move ladders and turn valves in a particular order puzzles. I'm talking about the, like I said, the original The Awakened had like clock puzzle, the house that you go to investigate where that clock puzzle is, the raccoon is on the roof, and like the horse is dying of dehydration. You gotta figure that out. Like all these things, the hidden room behind the painting, the thing where you have to stand on a particular tile, like it's just so cool. I love that house. And it's just gone. All that shit is just gone. Now it's just story stuff. It's so boring, dude. It's so boring. Holmes feels like incompetent in this one. He's completely hapless. He just gets like dragged from place to place so that the story can happen. It totally leans too hard as well into the it's all real angle. The thing that really solidified my like for the original The Awakened not just was the tone, the ambiguity of it, getting into his own head and convincing himself of something and logically going against other things. That was the appeal of the original Awakened. And in this, it's just basically confirmed all real. There's a bit at the ending where the villain of it, who I think has a much less interesting presence in this game compared to the original as well. He almost gets meta for a second and he says like, or he does get meta for a second. He says like, we've done this all before. Don't you remember? Blah, 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 blah. We're basically in a video game remake. That's like almost verbatim what he says. And they don't do anything with that. That doesn't go anywhere. It's just like, okay, reference because I know I'm in a video game. I know this is a remake of a video game and something supernatural. So I guess I would know that. No, stop it. Stop it. Get some help. It does not work. It is basically divorced from chapter 1, in my opinion. I think this game is totally standalone and it's better off for it. Do not play the Awakened remake. Just play the original Awakened 2008. Even if it does break your save and you lose hours of progress like me, it is so much better than the remake that it is still worth it. It is still worth dealing with the extra bullshit. I had to pick something up off the ground in the original Awakened. It just would not let me I like interacted with things in a weird way where I soft locked myself because a particular interaction didn't come up right. And I had to scour forums to figure out how to get out of that situation. But my recommendation is to play the original. Sherlock Holmes The Awakened, do not play the new Sherlock Holmes Awakened. It is just worse. It's just so much worse in every way. That's how I feel about the Sherlock Holmes series so far. I do hope they keep making them. I really want another Chapter 1 or another Crimes and Punishments, another Testament game, or another Jack the Ripper. Like, those are the peak of that series, and I want more of that. I have been wanting this kind of game for a very, very long time. There is a particular kind of joy for me in piecing together parts of another language and having it like click into place. I love that feeling when a language can click and you kind of get the logic of it some. That happens to me with Japanese a little bit more as I played through like the Yakuza games, for example. Hearing more natural Japanese, being able to have things like that click into place is super fascinating, and it really makes you feel like that, whoa, that Tim and Eric, whoa. That's how it feels. Chants of Sennaar is a game all about that feeling. It is people making little symbols above their head and then them doing some stupid charades thing. And maybe they give you this whole ass long sentence that you don't understand any of the symbols or what they mean. And then over the next hour or so, you will slowly piece together parts of this language and it will click. It will make sense to you. And you go from being completely lost as to what anybody's talking about to being able to form complex sentences with multiple different languages that are made. There's a brilliant revelation partway through where you realize that one symbol means a question mark. Things like that are so cool to me. It's like the movie Arrival, okay? This is like a game of that. I do wish there was a little more depth. It's a little bit too short. And some of the symbols are a little bit too obtuse without a hint. Like, I had an idea for a couple of them, but they were not what the game wanted me to type. There were a couple that I did have to look up just to finish out the alphabet. I had a similar idea, but it wasn't quite there. But it is very good, super worth it. I do recommend that one if you like language type games or puzzle type games. It's such an interesting mechanic, and I wish it was in more stuff, or I wish it was better done. I don't know how to describe it, but I just want more. Please make more language deciphering games, please. I am the audience for that. I would eat that shit up.
Come on, man. Just get him. Just fucking beat him up. Ow! I got shot in the face.
Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, I'll keep this brief. Tell me that's not the fucking dumbest name ever, by the way. Combat takes a while to get used to. For some reason, it did not click with me the first time I played it. I just could not comprehend the like 5 or 6 light attacks. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 5 light attacks before a heavy, and like that's the new rhythm. Up till that point, the standard rhythm is 3, maybe 4 light, and then a heavy. And then you expand as you go. But in this one, the base, I think is 5 light before you do a heavy. There's a lot of mixing up you can do. You can get very fancy with the combat. I'm a big fan of the new Dragon Engine combat. Ever since Judgment and Lost Judgment, they have just knocked it out of the park. There's actually a VOD of me playing the demo on my archive channel that is like, I think it has aged very poorly because my thoughts about the game have totally changed. For some reason, I was just so lukewarm. It just did not click with me at all. And I was like, man, really? Like, something about it just feels bad. But again, it was just one of those things where I didn't have enough time with it. And once I had the game in my hands, the full release, it was great. So yes, Majima Gaiden, I do recommend it. It is weird to hear everybody say Noah all the time. Really threw me off. I also hate that it ends on a TikTok dance. Why the fuck does it end on a TikTok dance? Where's the cinematic opening that I came to expect from, I don't remember if Like a Dragon had one, but Judgment, Lost Judgment, Gaiden, and 8 all have cinematic openings. This game, I was waiting for like half of the game before there was an opening cinematic. I was like, where's the opening cinematic? Okay, look, in my head, tell me this doesn't sound badass, okay? In my head, this is what the opening cinematic is. Majima falls into the water or whatever, and it shows his tattoos as he's floating down or sinking or whatever. It's the classic thing, right? Of him like getting dragged out of the ocean or whatever. But it goes and it shows his tattoos, and like as he's going by the camera, his body goes by, and then the title is up behind him of like the voice actors and all that kind of stuff. That's what I wanted, okay? I wanted a nice, tonally different opening. I think the problem is that it's too silly. I don't like this new memification era of Yakuza where they're like really leaning into like, guys, look how random Yakuza is. Isn't that silly? Isn't that crazy? Before it was one of those things where it was like, yeah, it has silly moments, but it's not a silly series. The main story is relatively serious, and then you throw some silly stuff in, especially in the sub-stories. This one felt weirdly silly. Like I said, I'm gonna expand on this more, but just know I have platinumed it. It was not very hard to platinum. None of these new games are. It is a lot of fun. I do still recommend it, although it's not great until the end. The post-credits is the reason that you're playing it. That's all I'll say. Post-credits is great. Everything up to that is kind of hit or miss for me. This one took a while for me to get used to the combat. I tried picking it up at one point and I had to drop it. But once this game does click, I think it's very addictive. The tone that it sets is really cool. The world that it builds is really interesting. I am so excited to see what this studio does next. I haven't played Overture yet. I finished the game a couple months before Overture was announced and then just put out. So I did not, I had the, you know what? It's funny because it's the exact same thing that happened to Bloodborne for me, where I played Bloodborne and I loved it. And then Old Hunters came out and I didn't play it because it's the same with Liza P. Overture. You have to get so far in the game before you can even access the DLC. It would be nice to be able to just play Overture. Like if I could take my finished character straight into Overture and not have to play through the entire rest of the campaign, 70% of the campaign just to get to the point where I could play Overture. I put a lot of time into it, and I'm excited for the next Liza P game, but I am not holding my breath. I am sated.
Here, I got a little sample.
Here, I don't have
Cause ample time's just what we don't have.
Cause money and time's just what we don't have.
Chicken in the kitchen is making all the sound. The cake is done while we were sitting around.
Yes, I'm a Parappa head. Mashing the fucking buttons will never get old to me. I love how the scoring doesn't make any sense at all. No matter how on beat you are, it feels like it literally does not matter. You're just like, oh, that was a bad line. Oh, that was a good line. Oh, that was a bad line. Who gives a shit though? The vibes on this game are off the charts. Like it's so lighthearted and enjoyable. I don't care how dated this is. I don't care how janky it is. It is just fun and enjoyable to like be in this world and with these characters, and that's all I need, really. So highly recommend that one. If you have not played Parappa the Rapper and you just want a stupid, silly game that's like an hour and a half long, that's a cute little rhythm game with nice little characters and very early 2000s art style, then go for it. I do recommend it. It is a cute little like 10-minute, if that, maybe 5 or less minute art piece. It basically could have been a YouTube animated short. I'm not sure if it's worth it at all at full price, but if it's on sale for like really, really cheap, then it's worth a look, or at least like a long play watch on YouTube. It's fine, but it is not, it's definitely not something I would recommend full price. ULTRAKILL is, in the words of Germa, it is a type of game. Like, it makes me feel like I'm breaking out of the Matrix in real life. The music is incredible. It's all very like breakcore metal. It changes world to world, but overall the soundtrack is just, it's very thematic in a way that really works, I think. I wish more of the guns were fun to use. I really only found 1 or 2 maybe per category that I liked using actively. I'm glad to see that it's still getting content and updates. It's a lot of fun. If you have not played it yet, I highly recommend it. But if you have epilepsy, maybe skip it. This game fucking sucks. I hate moving around. The levels are too simple. Jumping is fucking stupid. It should be locked behind a shop purchase like in Banana Mania. It is literally like the most baby, simple version of a monkey ball game. And again, this is the biggest problem with all of the modern monkey ball games, even Banana Mania. Why the fuck are the physics different? It does not make sense. The new physics do not feel good. The original monkey ball physics are perfect. Just make those games ported to modern consoles. Why is the movement so bad? Why does the movement suck so much? Who came up with this shit? Why is there every level in Banana Blitz HD has fucking rails that you have to hop on and just roll down? And that's how you play Banana Blitz. You hop on a fucking rail and you roll down the rail and then you get into the stupid goal. It looks like a knockoff. It looks like Rolled Out. Why does an official monkey ball game look like Rolled Out? I don't even like Rolled Out, but it controls better than this shit. Like, hello? Wake up. Hello? This game is so good. It has such a good soundtrack. This is my Undertale, all right? Everhood is my Undertale, and nobody's gonna take it away from me. It is charming, it is quirky, it's funny, it has a weird surrealist style that I think really does work for it, but it's so simple. The gameplay loop is so simple and addictive, and it's just like the type of thing that would totally open itself up for modding and workshop content. Everhood 1 just builds this tiny little world with these weird little characters, and it's just like, here you go. Go silly mode.
As if I have any agency over his fucking life. Whoa! Oh, the skateboard, bro. The skateboard does not fucking work on the bridge at all.
On that bridge? It does not.
It sucks. I'm always trying to get sweet air.
Hard to believe that Schedule 1 was a one-man project. I feel like this game did kind of blow up. I really enjoyed it. The soundtrack is good, even if you're not on meth. The vibe of the game is really unique. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels like an actual vision. It has a little bit of jank, but not so much that it feels like a one-man project. You know what I mean? It doesn't really, like I said, it does not feel like a one-man project at all. It's surprisingly really polished and a ton of fun. Multiplayer, having other people there, making drugs together and naming them stupid shit, that was just such a unique and fun experience. It really was engaging. It was kind of addictive. It is still getting extensive updates as well, which is pretty cool.
Is there anything over here? No? Okay. Just making sure. I'm just making sure. Wait. There's just stairs. I'm just gonna take the stairs. Ooh.
This one took a little while to click. It was like borderline impossible the first time I played it. I just did not get it. It just did not make sense to my fucking lizard brain at all. It is such a vibe. It makes sense why it's become a meme. Everything in it is quotable and very silly and over the top. It's very Platinum Games while still being very authentically Metal Gear. It's so weird. The Metal Gear tone really kind of perfectly fits Platinum Games. I mean, like, you think about stuff like Bayonetta, like that could very well just be like a Metal Gear spin-off in terms of tone. It's just like silly kind of and weird, and it takes itself too seriously where it wraps back around to being like ironic and funny. This game is like one giant vocal stem. Combat is great. Music is great. If you have not played it yet, highly recommend playing it. I'm here for you, okay? OCD gang rise up, ADHD gang rise up. It is one of those games where you just click and drag things and just sort them in whatever order. Some levels have multiple victory conditions, so you have to be able to sort things in sometimes really obtuse ways. I know there were some DLC put out, but my one critique is I wish there were more levels specifically about putting things in drawers. I just need more. I like putting things in drawers in little slots that are shaped like spoons and figuring out what stupid little thumbtacks fit what direction and whatever. I like that kind of shit. Call me stupid. I accept it. I know it's dumb and gay. I don't care. I like it. I like it. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to stop it for now. I have the other 35 here, but I've been recording for an hour and a half, and my voice kind of hurts a little bit. So I'm going to take a break. I will finish recording this at some point and I'll put out a part 2. For now, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought about any of these games. I'm really curious. I don't really get on like game forums and stuff. I'm not big on like game discussion in like Steam discussions and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of it is very toxic. On a lot of subreddits, it feels very toxic. So let me know what you guys thought of this. I'll have a list of all my games down below, at least the first 35. Let me know what you think and we will have some discussion. I'm genuinely curious. I cannot be the only person who has thoughts about bad Mojo.